Cool. So you're playing against someone called Ronin Blade. Okay. If you wouldn't mind, yeah. So you pause it for me now. Pause the game for me now. So click the little icon in the bottom left. Yep. Now, turn the scoreboard on for me. So you click the icon to the right. Yeah. So the first thing that I'm interested in is the matchup.
Okay.
So you're playing Lithuanians against Mayans.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not what went through my head. But you keep going.
Yeah. So this was through the 1v1 ranked queue, was it?
Yes.
Okay. So and by the looks of it, if you just press F6 for me. I think that's the standard. Yeah. So you are playing on Arabia. So in my experience, 95% of my games in the 1v1 ranked queue are on Arabia, unless someone bans it. So this is, and it's kind of like the standard map for Age of Empires. It's the map that I think the game's balanced around as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you pick Lithuanians or did you random it?
Oh no, I picked Lithuanians, dude.
Yeah.
There's no military.
Any particular attraction to it? What's the?
I mean, I guess heritage-wise, maybe.
Yeah.
They're close. They're as close as I think I can in this game to get to my heritage. So yeah, I guess that's my attraction.
Do you speak Lithuanian at all?
No, I'm Polish. But
okay, yeah,
Poland and Lithuania were they were part of the same.
They definitely border. I know they border.
There's the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in the 1600s. So there you go.
Yeah. Let's hope for Poland to be introduced to the game at some point as well. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, they have Slavs and Lithuanians. It's an interesting choice for me because it's like I feel Slavs is a little broader, you know. Anyway, keep going.
So in this matchup, you've got obviously Lithuania are a cav civ, and Mayans literally don't get cav. So they're an archer civ. So this is quite a different. It's not a very symmetrical matchup, I'd say. There are certain aspects to playing the Lithuanian civ that are unusual. Did you notice anything that you felt was unusual, or were you kind of too focused in the details?
I believe they start with, was it an extra villager? There's something where I need to build a house right away.
So they start with plus 150 food.
Mm-hmm.
Now that has actually enabled some people. I've seen Hera doing it like an instant rush. So you immediately build barracks and you send militia, right? So they can do things that.
Don't give me ideas, dude.
That other civs can't do. The one that starts with the extra village is actually your enemy, the Mayans. So it's very common that you accidentally start the game in Q Ville, which is a mistake if you're playing Mayans. You start the game in Q Loom. Okay.
Q Loom.
Yes, if you're playing Mayans. Not for you. You're playing Lithuanians.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so you close that objectives. Yeah. So your builds, you can start it rolling now. The build's slightly funny. So the usual start is use 2 vills to build 1 house, and then you use 1 vill to build another house. That's the standard go-to. The other thing you're doing is you are killing a lot of sheep simultaneously. Now, I don't know if you know about this, but sheep and boars and deer, they rot in this game.
They rot?
Yeah, and it's equivalent to about 1 villager gathering from it. So if you take it, it's decaying all the time. So you really only take 1 at a time.
Well, this is why you're here.
These are the learning points. Now the good news is your TC is working. You're making vills. You're doing a good job. You're kind of running rings around with your scout.
Yes.
Something you do is going forward. So the other thing is you slaughter a lot of sheep simultaneously. You put them all under your TC to keep them safe. As you kind of get to higher skill levels, you actually use your sheep to scout.
Ah, interesting. That makes sense though.
Yeah, and the reason is it's just faster to discover the map, and then it also gives you the opportunity to then go forward with your scout and find where the enemy is quicker and that kind of thing.
I also,
we'll
say that's definitely one thing where, like I end up, playing a lot of these games, not seeing half of the map. That's just the reality.
Yeah. Do you want to know anything about? So I've looked up your opponent. He's at the moment 872 elo, and he's a Mexican. He's a Mexican player.
Think technically, at this point, I was ranked higher, but that's mostly because I haven't played enough to D rank. as you,
Yeah, yeah.
as I'm sure you'll find out.
This is a big problem that people starting the game face. Is the game starts you out at 1,000 elo, which is about average. Now, but you think about it, that's an average of a game people have been playing for 20 years.
Yeah.
So the existing skill level's already very high, and people actually have to lose a lot of games in the 1v1 queue before they reach their skill level, if that makes sense.
100%. But my one thing though is like I'll look at like low elo legends.
Yep.
And I'm like I think I'd be better, but who knows, you know? And they're like 400.
Yeah. So I think the major thing for me I'm seeing now is you've gone straight to stragglers. So the trees that are around your TC.
Yeah.
You should be going for a lumber camp. And I particularly like the spot on the right. And the reason is because the trees surround it. So I'd say that'd be quite an efficient lumber camp spot. If you were to plop
right in the middle
it in the hole. It depends. You can actually take Fog of War off, or you can have a look if there's a tree there or not.
There you go.
So you would be able to get it in that corner, yeah. And we can also, so now we can have a chance to look at your map as well. And you can look at what the opponent's doing. So the opponent...
They have the lumber camp in the...
so they've gone straight for the lumber camp, yeah. Their sheep are a bit vulnerable. So if you were to go forward with your scout, you could potentially grab them all. So you usually wouldn't keep your sheep that far away. In terms of maps, his map immediately looks better. He's got 3 safe... all of his 3 golds are to the back. Which is a main player. So he's going to go for archers, most likely. And having those safe golds is really important because you need gold to make archers. You've got 1 safe back gold and 2 forward golds. But as a cav player, it's less relevant because you're going to open scouts. And especially with Lithuanians, because Lithuanians get bonuses on the trash units, which are your spearmen, your skirmishers, which again don't cost any gold, so you tend to prefer.
So I know you said, you know, I'm going to open scouts, but I cannot guarantee I open scouts. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
That's okay. Alternate builds are possible. So, and I don't like what you've done with taking the boar here. So the usual play is what we call boar luring. Are you familiar with that? Yeah.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, I didn't do anything. I literally clicked it and then forgot about it. The good thing is I got lucky that the mill was that close.
Yeah, in this case, both your boars are right next to the mill. So actually, in this case, you're effectively going to get away with it. One thing at your level, I'd probably encourage, if you are boar luring, get loom first. So I don't, but that comes with experience, and it also becomes with, if you mess it up, there are ways to recover, and you have to know them. So if you mess up with the unloomed vill luring the boar, and it starts chasing and you've lost a lot of health on your vill, you can do something where you build like a house on top of the boar to de-aggro it. So, but until you get comfortable doing things like that, and I saw it happen in a recent tournament as well, where it got kind of very, very, with Degao, I think it was, who had to do it, where he had to start building the house on top of the boar to de-aggro it. So until you're comfortable with stuff like that, I would encourage you to get loom first, then lure the boar.
Sounds good. Loom's a weird one, because I keep feeling like, should I just keep making villagers, you know?
You're asking when should you get loom?
Yes.
So at high level play, you'll see people get it before they click up to feudal. At your level, I would do it when you go to lure the boar. So the usual build is 6 on food, which is your sheep, 1 sheep at a time. Then it's 4 on wood. Then it's Vill 11 goes to get the boar. So I would do it before Vill 11 at this level. Yeah, that's what and that's what I did for a long time. I think until I was 1400, I got loom before Vill 11. Okay, so you're up well earlier than your opponent. Your opponent's still in Dark Age because he's 26% Dark Age right now.
Is there a way to check villager counts?
And he's pushing deer. Do you see what he's doing with the Eagle Scout? See how he's moved the deer closer to his TC?
How do you do that? Oh, because he like aggroed it and then.
So you push it, you stand behind it, and it runs away from you. That's something called deer pushing, deer luring. Even though it's not a deer in this case, I think it's whatever it is, a turkey and ostrich. I think it's an ostrich. It's an ostrich, yeah. So you're up far earlier, and you're opening, by the looks of it, man at arms.
Yes.
You're researching
maybe.
man-at-arms.
Who knows?
Okay. So generally, I'd encourage you to make militia
A plan.
first. No, it's
Oh,
fine. Make militia first, then research man-at-arms.
just to, yeah.
And usually it's you make 3 or 4, send them forward, then you get the tech. Yeah. In general, don't tech into things and then before you haven't made that unit.
Oh, I do that way too much. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm.
Part of the thing is, it doesn't give you the opportunity to change your plan. Like the techs are very expensive. So if you then decide, oh, I don't need to make that unit anymore, you've already kind of teched into it.
Yeah, I'm definitely someone who just like get all the upgrades. It's a
Yeah.
of mine.
Is it like a RPG mentality, like try to get the fully upgraded?
Well, okay. When I play StarCraft a lot, I was like a guy, you know, like double upgrades whole game, you know, like it was all about being ahead on upgrades because in that game, if I don't know, you can do really good timing pushes with them, but here I just maybe it's just the sheer amount of them makes me want to just get all of them.
Yeah.
It's a completionist in me, I guess.
Oh yeah. So you're fighting. So that's a bad trade for him to do that with the Eagle Scout, lose HP.
That was the second time I've been housed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Again, you're busy with other things, right? So you've put your farms preferentially around the mill. I would encourage you to put them around the TC.
Here's another thing. I don't know the spacing on the proper farms around the TC. I keep getting the weird one at the end where like
it's not a big deal. Again, it's probably till I don't know 1500 that
the people actually know how to do it perfectly.
No, I think they do. I just didn't, and it doesn't make that much of a big deal. Basically, what you have to do is you have to place it. I'd show you if I had access. So that it overlaps by 1 onto the TC, which is why you've done it. Yeah, so
okay.
that as that farm is, that's perfect. Yeah.
Because it's one. Wow.
And then you just copy that pattern all the way around, and it will be kind of perfect. Yeah. So it looks like there's a bit of action going to this.
Oh, there you go.
So and you're building a tower, are you?
I am. Yes.
I don't like that tower.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what it accomplishes. And the other thing is, it also building a towers costs you stone, right?
Yeah.
And that's stone that you need to build your town centers later on. So it kind of means you have to go onto stone earlier, or you need to buy, or you just need to not build other town centers.
I will say that's another thing about this game is like I don't maybe I don't know if it's comfortability, but like once I hit castle, like I take forever to build a second TC.
And to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't encourage you to change that. Like one TC plays are pretty strong. So especially like all in aggression, and that's what I like here. So you've got the upper hand here. You're taking the initiative. By the looks of it, he's sitting back. I don't know if you take Fog of War off for me.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So you can actually see he's not walled here. So you're hitting the barracks, kind of getting good damage, but he wasn't going to make infantry line units anyway. He's going to go archers because he's mains.
So the tower would have made any difference, yeah.
No, but you could have just walked in there with those man-at-arms and then start looking to get eco damage, right? Go to his wood line. So that's something to bear in mind. Do you still have your scout alive? Is another question.
Do I still have my scout alive? Oh, that's a good question. I don't think so. I don't see it moving around anywhere. So
no. So
no, I brought him in to attack the barracks, and then he built a pikeman that killed him.
Ah, right. Okay. So I would always just keep the scout scouting. So you could have seen there that he's not fully walled. And so so it's quite scary that he's up to castle age here, right? So he's gonna have crossbows very soon. He's gonna have fully upgraded. So what's your instinct for dealing with crossbows?
What's my instinct?
Yeah.
I mean, especially if I only have.
We're gonna find out, right? When
I probably should have. I mean, I feel like some kind of cavalry is probably better than what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna recommend it. It's actually the unit that you guys kind of dissed on the first podcast.
Skirmishers, yeah.
Yes, and especially because you're Lithuanians, right? So your skirmishers move 10% faster.
Oh, that's
And
great.
that's actually because archers want to run away from skirms. It's actually quite a big benefit. Now you want to take this fight really fast, but he's already teching into crossbow. So I say this guy knows what he's doing. He's clicked up. He's immediately. I say he knows what he's doing. He hasn't gone for bodkin straight away. So I'd like to see bodkin from him straight away, but he's actually gone for archer armor.
He knows more than me about what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
and
he's got crossbow, so you just need to run away, which I think is what you're doing. Yeah. So that's a good reaction.
I will say that the formations here definitely throw me off.
Yep.
Like how the units.
Same. And they all walk in a line, and so if you want to run away quickly, they don't path the shortest way. They reform into a group, which wastes time while they're being attacked. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So you're taking into fletching and archer armor.
Oh no. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is definitely probably really bad.
Yep.
But if I have a blacksmith, I'm getting all the upgrades.
Collect them all? Yeah. Okay. So the usual thing is you never tech. You don't get archer armor before you click up because that's food you need to get to the next stage.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep that in mind. That let's save the upgrades for Castle Age.
No, it's not. So fletching's a good one to get in feudal.
Okay.
But other than that, you really need to justify it. Because it delays your uptime so much faster. So the moment he's in Castle Age and you're still in Feudal Age, and you don't have the resources to click up. Can we have a look back at your hometown?
Yes.
So everything's like reasonably efficient. Again, at this point, I would look to rebuild a lumber camp there.
On the right side.
Well, so that as well, and you rebuild the left one closer to the wood line. Because they're having to walk a long way now. So that's kind of inefficiency.
Interesting. So you rebuild it every so often?
Yeah, and this is about right. This is about the point where it's worth it to do it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well nothing's really going on.
So again, you're getting all your upgrades. You're getting forging now.
I should be Castle Age.
Yeah, these are that costs a lot of food. I'm pretty sure. Let me check. That's 150.
Everything, yeah, everything costs food. It's like.
Yeah, forging is 150 food, which would let you click up. You're also floating wood. What I mean by floating is you've got excess wood here. So for me, it'd be build a market, get vills off of wood. Alright, now you're getting what's the bloodlines? You're getting bloodlines in the stable, which is like that's a good upgrade for your cavalry. But I'd rather be Castle Age, if that makes sense. So generally speaking, I say don't tech into something. Don't try and tech everything. Tech one unit. See how he's teched one unit. He's only making crossbow, and he's probably only got the researchers associated with crossbow. And it's like you're not spreading yourself too thin doing that. Like you optimize. So you're taking a good fight here. He's reacted now. So you're doing better here than you should, if that makes sense.
What do you mean? Because he didn't react?
Correct. So he right-clicked his units, where he should have used some. If you're not going to look at them, you should be using something called patrol. Are you familiar with patrol?
Because I usually just use our attack move.
Yeah. So right. So attack move is good as well. That kind of functions similar to patrol. Yeah. So if you just attack move your units, they don't just walk while they're being attacked, if that makes sense. Yeah. So again, I would have liked to see you. You're trying to take a fight against Castle Age units with feudal units, which is pretty much a non-starter against crossbows. And he's
so this game, you're telling me this game's already over here at this point?
No, probably at this level, no.
Okay. At a higher level, this would be it, though.
Correct.
Like, I feel,
Correct, yeah. If you've been in feudal age that long, and he's got crossbows, and so for me here, now it depends if he's got an upgrade called ballistics. So one of the most important upgrades on crossbows is this upgrade called ballistics. But you need a university to get it, and it's what I'll rush. So as soon as I hit Castle Age, I'll get the crossbow upgrade, I'll get bodkin arrow, and I'll build a university immediately. And then as soon as it's built, I'd get ballistics. Because you see now how he's missing vills? Like if they walk away,
It takes them longer to kill, essentially.
Yeah, but it also means you can dodge, and you'll see that when I went top level playing, the people will dodge with units to miss crossbow shots. And so you can do something, I call it ZV spamming. So there's two formations. There's your standard regular formation on Z, and then there's a split formation on V. And if you alternate between the two, the units do a dance.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, ballistic shot will miss them. Well, shots will miss them. With ballistics is better, but you can still dodge ballistic shots as well.
Got it.
But I still think if you can get up to Castle Age, which you're researching now, at this level, you're never out of the game.
Got it. I guess that's another big thing to remember. Is like,
yeah,
as bad as I am, they may be worse.
Oh yeah, but it's not just that. It's one thing I don't like is you're choosing to fight military, and if you're behind, you just go for eco damage, and you'll overwhelm them with eco damage. You'll mentally break them. So this is really good here. So you're in the position now. You can deny this castle. If you play this correctly, yeah, and you denied the castle, which is big, because he wants to go into something called plumed archers, which are one of the strongest units in the game.
That's what I like to call foreshadowing.
I see which way. But you're in a reasonable, with Lithuanians, you're in a reasonable position to counter plumes, I'd say. With your, you trade very efficiently with your skirms. Like skirms don't beat plumes, but for the resources spent, they beat plumes.
So I guess that's something to keep in mind is when I know there's an archery civ, or especially if I see them going a lot of archers, to just focus on the skirmishers more.
Yeah. So you're about to take a big bada boom here. Yeah. Another shot. Oof. Yeah. So your scouts, if you use your scouts here, you can kill that mangonel.
This is where I feel like my scouts should.
Yeah. No. You're doing it. You are. Give yourself some credit. You are killing that. Yeah. That's good.
Hey, you did it. Oh no.
So I feel like you're caught up. Oh, yeah, and you're making man-at-arms here. No, you're making.
Oh
no. So infantry in this game are weird, and they're only situationally good. They're not a good unit in general. So infantry are good in, say, Dark Age and early feudal, simply because you can't make anything else. So they're useful then, right? In the mid game and then kind of later on, they're only good as counter units. But in general, you avoid making infantry, if that makes sense. Unless you've got a specific reason to, so you can't make anything else, or you're trying to counter a specific unit like Eagle Warriors, or you're trying to kill trash units like Spears and Skirms. You don't make them. You definitely don't make them against crossbows.
Got it.
Yeah. It's quite an interesting one.
More
like
skirmishers.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, more. No, it's definitely like when I watch it, it seems so obvious. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but that's everyone. That's when I watch my games. Like, why did I do that? That was really silly. It's me as well. It's everyone looking, because you're so occupied with trying to keep your TC running, trying to do everything else that's going on. You get distracted, you know.
There, well, looks like that castle's going up. Do you want to take a look, I guess, of my base here for a second?
Yeah. Again, so you lost vills on the farms, right?
Yeah.
So one of your priorities would be making new vills and getting them back onto those farms, because that's
especially
wood.
When I have 2k wood.
Yeah, that's wood you've invested, right?
Yeah.
Do you know about relics?
Yes.
And what they do for the Lithuanians?
Oh, the bonus? I don't know the bonus that Lithuanians have.
So for each relic you get, up to a maximum of 4, your knights get extra damage.
Oh.
It's actually really big. And it's something that, and I think actually your opponent has done it. Can you have a look if your opponent has a monastery? Yeah.
Yes.
So he knows about that bonus, and he's very quickly taken the relics away from you.
So this is the second relic? No, this is the first one.
I think you'd have to change to his point of view there. So if you click on the replay and click to him, and then click on the monastery, he's got 4. So there's only 1 left now, which is right. Wow. You can see that in the white dot. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. So he kind of knows about that bonus. I say eventually he's probably just got more experience with you in the matchup. So if you were able to mass knights, you'd be able to kill him. with the relics.
So I feel like Lithuania's like is just Master Knight's just a usual play.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you pretty much sure that Lithuanians are gonna at some point kind of tech into knights.
And then you just go on the wood line, I guess. Or...
Well, you can raid with them, but you can also take fights against archers. Now, it's worth touching upon. So a lot of people think that. What do they think? They think archers counter infantry, infantry counter knights, knights counter archers.
Okay.
Which isn't really that true. It's all about numbers. So in small numbers, cavalry beat archers. Once the archers hit a critical mass, you really struggle to beat with them, and that's why you need to add siege and you need to add skirmishes as well into the mix. But here, I mean, here you've got the better numbers. Right now, you could take this fight if you had the.
I'm just afraid because they literally have 2 castles. That
yeah,
if I
so
go
that's
in...
the thing is you can't take that fight.
Yeah.
Not under the castles. Things you can be doing with the knights right now is run them into the enemy base. He's not walled. Like, just go and kill vills.
Man, that's something I have to remember. Just when you can't do anything, just go around and tap
Correct.
vills.
Yeah, I'd say that you never want to make an army and do nothing with it because you've invested those resources. So, provided you've got the I don't know you're on top of things. You can run with the knights, do damage, then run away because you've got the mobility advantage here. So you can run, do damage as soon as he reacts, run them away. It's called like raiding, right? Yeah. So you've kind of teched into Cav Archer here. Again, I'd like to see, and you're short on gold. That's why you're making right. So I think you're short on gold.
Yes.
And that's why you've made a light cav there as well. So that's just a little bit of eco balance there. One thing you could do if you've messed up like this is you can build a market and you can sell wood. The price might not be brilliant, but I mean I would do it in this case.
Yeah, especially.
But actually, so the light cav here are actually good,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason is he's got monks. So monks counter knights pretty hard, but light cav have like a inherent resistance to conversion. So you use them to snipe the monks. I think he'll try for a conversion. Yep. So if you send now the light cav, run the knights away, and then you send the light cav to kill the monks.
Interesting.
And you'll lose them, but I mean you'll probably be able to kill the 2 monks, which is worth it, definitely worth it, because the monks are 100 gold. But I've got to fact check myself.
Right, speaking of plume archers.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a big mass, and they are a scary, scary unit.
How are they against buildings?
Not that good. Now, there's something called obsidian arrows. I don't know if you heard of that tech.
No.
So obsidian arrows gives bonus damage to crossbows against buildings. So Mayan crossbows shred buildings. But it doesn't actually apply to plumes. So here he's run under the castle, which is really bad for him. But unfortunately your castle's attacking the battering ram. So if you were to target this castle to the archers, you'd win this fight.
Okay.
You see how it's just killing the battering ram?
Yeah.
Which has, like, battering rams have really, really high
defense.
Pierce resistance to pierce attacks. Not to physical attacks, like your cavalry will shred it. But actually,
if I was literally
he's still
just
taking a bad. You see now how the battering rams moved out of range?
Yeah.
And now the castle attacks the archers?
The castle was one-shotting archers and it was just hitting a battering ram over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, I still don't think this is out of your... So you're making light cav now. What I would do personally, I would queue light cav into his base.
Into his base.
Yeah, I'd set... So you can't focus on everything at once. I would set the gather point to where I know he's collecting resources. He's not walled. So you see this lumber camp here? You see these lumber camps, see these farms, see that gold? He's got no walls. I would just queue light cav at him. And
so if you get people to hide in like a TC, do you just kind of like run around the outskirts then after?
Yeah, but even the pierce resistance, if you've got the upgrades, makes it worth it. He's probably taking the gold in the far corner, I'd guess. See how there's a gold to the left of the map? Yeah. Golden stone. He's probably take. Those are called neutral resources. I imagine he's planning to take the neutral resources here. So I would just queue them in, and if he's garrison vills, it's kind of idle time anyway, and the pierce resistance. So that for me would be your comeback strat: is take your stable, queue light cav, and just set the gather point in the space.
Another big thing is, I guess that I. Oh, also, what happened to my wood line? Oh, it's gone. I actually have no one gathering wood. Got it.
And you spent it as well, haven't you?
Yep.
You had quite a good. But this is good. That's a. So I don't love that lumber camp placement, but it's fine.
Could be a little more in there, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're trying to do, and it just minimizes walking distance for the bills. Yeah. Again, it's not. I think it's very minor. That's being, pedantic, picky.
The higher level you go, the more picky that it really
sure,
is.
Sure.
Like it. I think the lower level you are, the broad strokes is something that you tend to miss, and then as you get higher level, you have to really kind of get those small things.
Yep. So he's imp now, and he's researching handcart, building plumes. Okay. So for me, his play here is correct. So castles often stop archer civs in their tracks because you can't push against castle with archers. So what it does is it forces you to go imp, and then you make trebs.
Got it.
And then you treb the castles down. And I think that's what he's doing now, is he's making the trebuchets.
Yeah, that's the breaking point in this game. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if he gets the trebs out here. Let's actually look at what he's doing.
You see what he's doing now with his plumes? By the way, that's the patrol command.
Got it.
So he's not looking at them. He's not doing that manually. He's set them to patrol.
That'd be such a ridiculous thing to do manually.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there.
Oh, he's actually gathering wood on the left-hand side of the map. That's an interesting choice. So I thought he was going for the neutral. He's built.
I just built another TC.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his little. Like he could easily do that here as well.
Correct.
I feel. I mean, honestly, for our level, no one's even fighting over the left side of the map.
No. But I say that's perhaps something I would encourage you to do. You don't want to attack his fortified position. I would queue light cav into his base. And I think at this level, people will fall apart to raiding. They won't be able to deal with it.
Well,
that's what you look like. What you're doing now, yeah. Going forward.
Took me 20 minutes, but
yeah.
I guess I'll try to disrupt him. And this already, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a bad play, shall we say? Wait, does he have all the things already? I think he has all. I should, yeah. Hold on, can I just see what his resources like?
Yeah.
Okay, and
he's producing from 4 town centers at the moment.
Yeah, well, no wonder he's way ahead. It's funny, because, like, if you look at the first, 5 minutes of the game, or, like, the very early part of the game, he, like, I was ahead overall, right? And then...
Yeah.
And then... See, this is the tough thing, is I ran in here, and I actually didn't know where to go.
Yeah. So I mean, you to be honest, you just got to run away from the plumes in, and they're quite quick as well. That's the benefit of plumes. They're an archer, but they move pretty quick. You could kill Vills there.
This is the problem, though. Death trap here.
And this is, to be honest, this is why for you, I prefer the gather point solution. So you queue 1 scout at a time.
And they just keep annoying.
And then you haven't got a mass to lose and mass to micro. And you just so if you just concentrated on growing your economy, adding TCs, building farms, and then just raiding with light cav into Hussar. And that's something you see at the top level. Like, it's something you'll see Hera do a lot if he's playing a cav civ. His strategy will become full Hussar. And he won't take a direct fight like this against the castles. He's just going to raid them to death. And I think it's a good strategy, especially if you're behind and you can't take a direct fight. Raid them to death, build loads of stables, set the gather point in their base, and just queue light cav. And just make sure you're adding enough eco and enough farms behind it to just make it endless.
Is that a very common one for like cavalry civs?
Yeah, just eventually. Once, usually later on, to be honest. Once you get to Imperial, then it's almost a go-to strat once you get to Imperial. Before that, you're trying to mass knights. Yeah. But at some point you'll see it, and it happens when the gold runs out. Once the gold runs out, so Hera's mined all his gold, you're just going to build 15, 20 stables, and just queue endless Hussar into the enemy base.
All right, I'm gonna speed this up a little bit.
Yeah.
because I like this at this point in the game, I'm definitely feeling like I can't even defend, right?
Yeah,
Like with
so
the round
again,
castles.
yeah, with this kind of a score differential 4K, that's a big score differential. Again,
Yeah.
at this level, I'd say you're not out of it. And I'd say if I was perhaps coaching you, I'd say we can potentially still win here. And I'd say but the solution is you don't try and fight this
You just
direct.
don't fight. You just
Yeah,
don't
it's almost like
fight.
you almost change to guerrilla warfare, which is like build as many TCs as you can, build as many farms as you can, and then just queue Lightcap into his base and overwhelm him. Because he won't have the micro. He wants to take a direct fight. And archer civs do. Like you want to abuse the mobility of your cavalry against an archer. Like if you try to take a head-on fight against archers, it's rough.
Yep.
It's rough.
All right.
What were your
do
feelings?
we want?
Go ahead.
Hmm?
I was going to ask,
Actually,
what were your feelings in summary? Like, you kind of talked through it now.
yeah. I say one thing. This was the first game, and
Yeah.
I think that's always a weird one where you're kind of still. Oh right, we're playing this game again. You know.
Yeah.
there's a thought process. I think I definitely early on overestimated the threat that he had. Like
he just did a
especially
straight fast castle. He just fast castled there. He made no feudal army really.
like especially when I did end up building that tower, I really didn't need all those units under it. Like
No.
that's already enough to kind of ward off a archer.
Yeah. But again, I think for me, you had the military advantage. If you had hit his resources, then take the aggression, kill Bills. Yeah, it's not very gentlemanly. I know that. Kill Bills. This is war, you know.
Swore, yes.
I suppose that's a theme you're kind of getting from me. Is don't try and take direct fights. Try and kill Bills, especially with the cav civ. Yeah.
And I feel like this game kind of pushes you to that a little bit because just buildings take forever to kill too, right? So even if you do win the fight, it's kind of like until you get to those later stages, it's kind of hard to knock down a lot of those things.
Yeah, and I think it matters more. Like at a certain point, once you get high enough, the queuing light cav into the enemy base doesn't work because they're too on top of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, until I was like 1400, I just used to queue units into the enemy base.
Got it.
I mean, that 1400 will put you in the top 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just works really, really well. But at a certain point, they react too well to it that you don't actually kill bills and you're just throwing away units. So we're sending them one at a time. At a certain point, that happens, but it's not until you're well higher than this level.
Got it.
Cool.
All right, I think we'll probably end here, honestly, because I as much as I enjoyed it, but yeah, I have so much to soak in from all this. So yeah, there you go.
Overwhelming at first, yeah.
I hope anyone who does listen. I think what I'll do is I'll put a podcast. I'll put a podcast episode out and then link it to the vid, so that way there people can get to it.
Yeah.
And hopefully someone can look at this and kind of get something from it. Yeah, thanks for joining me once again.
Super.
Thanks, and yeah, for sure. And we'll have the official show back in a bit. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cool. I always feel a bit. Part of the problem is you